Bloomington, Indiana, where 2 years ago what would have seemed unthinkable is now a reality. This is the home of the national champions, the Hoosiers, just 7 months removed from authoring the greatest college football story ever told, retaking the field with a mix of returnees and new faces. What does Curt Cignetti's crew have in store this season? We begin to find out on our Indiana training camp special now.
It's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
Third down and goal at the 7 for the Hoosiers. Mendoza in trouble. It's out. Touchdown. Wow. Omar Cooper. Unbelievable. Mendoza. Fade. Surratt. Corner. Touchdown. Indiana. Now the Hoosiers are flipping champs. Let's go. Hoosiers.
It is a season people around here will never forget. The most remarkable run in the history of college football. And now the 2026 Indiana Hoosiers prepare to author the next chapter. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Bloomington. Dave Revson, Jake Butt, Howard Griffith. I think it's fair to say that in some ways, things will never be the same. You see the lobby we're standing in and all the trophies here. But in a lot of ways, guys, it also feels like business as usual.
Look, if there was ever a time to kick your feet up, relax, and pat yourself on the back, if Curt Cignetti, it would have been after last season, right? But getting a chance to talk with him today, that's not the case. He truly loves the process. And, you know, here in this fall camp, it's the beginning of another long journey to go and try to win another one.
You start talking about loving the process, the next team, putting this team together, getting them up to speed so that they can have an opportunity to go out and chase their dreams. This is really one of the special parts of really putting a football team together this time of the year.
Very fun to visit with Curt Cignetti in his office this morning as we anticipate heading out to practice. And one of the things he said was, in the preseason, all I see are problems. I think you look at this team, at least on paper, and you see a lot of solutions because this team is loaded. But what are you anticipating and what are you watching for as we prepare to see the Hoosiers?
Let's start with the quarterback in Josh Hoover, and it takes time. I called the spring game. Cignetti talks about the seasons that they go through. You struggle a little bit in spring, and then you reset for summer, and then you come back into fall camp. Of course, this season will be dictated in large part by the play of Josh Hoover, but history would tell us that if you're playing quarterback for Cignetti, you're going to have a special season.
And how about Marsh? Being an addition here now to that wide receiver room, he is an outstanding player at Michigan State. Now to have him here, that's really going to bode well for that wide receiver room.
What about on the defensive side?
All of it. Bryant Haines, all of it. They're just a treat to watch, but specifically the defensive line. I was excited to watch them, and then you go out and get Daly and Wyatt. It's like, yeah, good luck to the rest of the Big Ten. I'm excited to see linebackers, specifically Elijah Hardy. I think he has All-American potential. Now he's the guy anchoring the middle of the defense, so across the board, a lot to be excited.
Yeah, I think you look at him from a defensive standpoint, you don't expect to be a drop-off because of the leadership that they have on that side of the ball. So I would expect them to continue where they left off last year.
The track record would suggest that would happen.
Never go against it.
Right, remarkable run by Curt Cignetti, 27-2 through his 2 years here, and more to come here from the Hoosiers in 2026.
Josh Hoover very much in the spotlight in Bloomington. He replaces Fernando Mendoza as the Hoosiers starting QB. Those would qualify as sizable shoes to fill after Mendoza won the Heisman, led them to the national title, and was the first pick in the NFL draft. Wide receiver Charlie Becker figures to be among his top weapons. He's the only one of the 9 players who scored a touchdown during the CFP run who returns this year. That duo with Jake.
Josh Hoover, Charlie Becker, excited to spend a few minutes with you. And Josh, we'll start with you. Cignetti has a history developing quarterbacks. Take me back to why you decided this was the right place for you.
Yeah, no, I think when I decided that I was going to go somewhere else, this place and Coach Cignetti and this offense was really appealing just because of, the discipline that they have here, the culture that's been set in stone, the way Coach Cignetti coaches quarterbacks, the way his quarterback coaches coach and just emphasize the details. That's one of the cool things for me is just watching how the details are coached here and how much the players really truly care about making sure those small things are right. And I think that goes a long ways in offenses, and wanted to go somewhere where I could be the best version of myself, and I felt like I can do that here, and it's been an awesome experience so far.
We talk about the details and development. I've heard Cignetti kind of talk about the quarterback growth in seasons. Like you have spring, then you have summer, now you're back in fall camps. The season itself will have its own season. What are some of those areas that you've grown in the most as a quarterback?
Well, I think, one thing that we've talked about, my quarterback coach, Tino Sinceri, when I got here, he said, if you want to become the new you got to kill the old you, and so just going back to the foundation and just trying to break some old habits and reestablish what we do here, how we play football, how the quarterback plays here, and just committing to that and hold myself accountable to our standards as quarterbacks. And it's been awesome. I've loved it. I've gotten a lot better, and we've got a long ways to go, and I'm excited about that chance to get better every day.
And you got great weapons to throw to. So tell me from your eyes, from a quarterback's eyes, what is it that stands out about Charlie's game?
Well, the first thing about Charlie that I love is just his work ethic. I've never seen a receiver work the way he does and be as committed to everything that it takes to be great. And so he's very committed. And for me, that's a great thing because everything that I want to do, he's wanting to do, and he's wanting to be here on Saturdays and catch. And he's wanting to do all these things, and he's a leader for the receiver group and kind of lays out the foundation of, hey, this is how we're going to do things. And those guys follow him. And I could talk about his talent all day long, but he's going to be like a lot of plays this year. He's going to be a great player, just like he was last year. And I'm really appreciative and really thankful he's on our team. That's for sure.
Charlie, this time last year, you really weren't a known commodity, and then you explode in the back half of the season. I'm kind of curious for you, what's different now being the guy in that wide receiver room?
Yeah, I think, last year I learned so much from the older guys like Coop, EJ and Elijah. Just what kind of I learned from them is the leadership aspect and just being able to have kind of control of the room and now being able to kind of help the younger guys and bring them up and, make sure that they know every single position so that when their number gets called, they can pick it up and we're moving without any pauses.
But for your game in particular, what are some of those areas that you're focusing on to take your game to the next level?
Yeah, I think my game can always improve. I think in every aspect, route running, releases, catching the ball, I think, all nine, in every aspect I can get better.
Unique as well, because this is your third year here at Indiana. This is now your third quarterback that you've been catching passes from. From your perspective, what is it that stands out about Josh's game?
Yeah, I think kind of like the same thing that he was saying on. I just loved getting texts from Josh saying, hey, you want to go throw? And I mean, that was literally every day. He was texting and saying, let's start building this connection. As soon as he got here, we had just gotten back from our little break, and he texted me. He said, hey, I know you're getting off your break, but I'd love to catch, start this connection, start throwing balls, and I just love his work ethic too, and I'm really, really excited.
Josh, last one here for you. I mean, in my opinion, this is the best staff in all of college football. And now that you've got a chance to spend some time with them, what stands out? What makes this staff and this program different?
I think obviously it always starts at the top. Starts with the leadership at the school, and then obviously Coach Cignetti. When you walk into this place for the first time, it's pretty overwhelming, just the way that things are run around here and the respect that our entire staff and all of our players have for our head coach. It's very, very cool, and it's awesome. It's something that I saw for the first time really being here, just how a program actually is committed to a process and committed to an idea, and just the culture of the way the players interact, the way the players hold each other accountable. That's what makes this place special, and just the brotherhood. It's truly a place where it's not cliquey at all. It's guys love each other. They love being around each other. They love working together. I love the guys on defense. They love us. We go at it every day. Our defense is really good. They made me a lot better. And so this place is just full of great coaches who hold guys to the highest standard. I've never been held to a standard as high as I am here. And it was uncomfortable at first. And its growth is always uncomfortable, but that's the only way to grow, is to be uncomfortable. And it's been a great experience, and I'm just looking forward to continue to work every single day with these guys.
And I'm looking forward to watching you guys this fall. Josh Hoover, Charlie Becker, appreciate you guys.
Thank you very much.
So much more to come on the show. IU coach Curt Cignetti reflecting on last year's magical journey and telling us what to expect from this year's Hoosiers. And later, retaining Bryant Haines, perhaps Cignetti's biggest offseason accomplishment. We'll chat with the Hoosiers defensive coordinator. It's the preseason football tour on the Big Ten Network. To say Indiana spent last year in uncharted territory does not even begin to express how truly bonkers things were in Bloomington. After starting the season as the losingest program in the history of the sport, IU ascended to #1 for the first time in school history. The Hoosiers had their first ever perfect regular season, then went 4-0 in the postseason, a run that included their first Big Ten title since 1967, just their third ever. It all added up to the first national title ever for IU football, clinched by 3 straight bowl wins.
And thrilled to have the man who orchestrated that success, Curt Cignetti, the head coach of the Hoosiers, with us. Coach, we'll obviously get into this year's team, but I'd be remiss if I didn't reflect a little bit on what happened a season ago. How did all of that impact you personally?
Well, we made it to the top of the mountain, so there's a lot more, I think, awareness out there who the head coach of Indiana Hoosiers is, and all the things that come with that. But it was great to get to the top of the mountain. Every step's exciting, and when you get to the top, you want to stay there.
You talked a little bit about that recognition. Now, you have always believed in yourself. Is there some satisfaction? Like, what's the emotion that comes with proving yourself right?
Sure, there is. I mean, professional satisfaction. You poured a lot into it, made a commitment, and that's something that everyone that aspires to be a head coach wants to do is, win national championship at some level. But the thing about, this business is success is very temporary. Fame is fleeting. You got to prove yourself again. There are times to reflect upon it. It takes a village, support from the top, great people in the locker room and on your staff. But I'm not the type that dwells on past success very much.
Oh, I've noticed. Yeah.
And, I was kind of ready to get back to work the day we got back to the office. And, because every year you got to kind of build the house again, so to speak. You got to dig the hole, build the foundation, and that's where we're at.
I want to get into the building of the foundation, but I do want to ask you, because I asked you this on the field in Miami about your dad, Frank Sr., Hall of Famer, and I asked you kind of in that moment, what would you say to him? And I'm guessing you've had a little bit more time to reflect on that. He's such a part of your development, obviously part of the reason you want to be a coach. He has passed away. What would you say to your dad about that journey last year and the success you had?
I think we would just kind of get a chuckle out of it, really. I mean, when he passed, I was at JMU. I think it may have been my second last season there. And I loved that job. It was a good job. Like, that's one thing people always ask me, about taking so long to get here. Like, IUP is a good job. Elon's a good job. JMU's a good job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But relative, I think we both would probably been a little bit surprised, really, quite frankly. Who wasn't? You end up in Indiana. Maybe that wasn't quite so much as a surprise. Of course, I know what he would have said every job I took. What'd you doing that for? But the success we have here, I think, obviously, a lot of people would have lost money in Vegas on that one. Yeah, he's a big part of who I am.
Oh, let's talk a little bit about the foundation and this year's team. I'm not sure if you noticed, but you guys were picked third in the Big Ten. We talked about trying to stay on top of the mountain and motivation and how you motivate your guys. To what extent, if any, will you use that as motivation?
Not a whole lot. I don't think I have to. They see it. Ohio State's a great program, as is Oregon. There's some great programs in the Big Ten, top to bottom. There's a lot of polls that have come out. There's a lot of comments that are made. We'll find things. But I think it's more important to kind of consistently try to meet the standard every day and improve as much as possible. and buy into that process and do it. Get everybody doing it the way we want them to do it. And then a little motivation or a chip on our shoulder always helps. And I'll find something. Trust me.
One of the things that you were able to do that I think is pretty remarkable is hold on to your coordinators. So let's talk about each one of those guys. Start with Mike Shanahan. What's special about him? How has he gotten this offense to a place where it's the machine that it is? It creates a Heisman Trophy winner. All of those great things that came with it.
Well, Mike and Bryant have both been with me over 10 years. Hired them for peanuts at IUP. And, they've stayed with me. We've been successful. They've had opportunities. And, I let them do their job and give them free time and things of that nature. Mike has really grown. Hired him as a receiver coach, and came to me about the coordinator job. When I had coordinator change at JMU after my maybe second year, and I'm involved, and and he does a great job of collaborating with the whole staff on offense, and I'm involved daily, but I'm not quite as involved as I was back then when I first hired him, because Mike has grown. And, Mike can certainly run an offense without me being involved at all.
Right.
But I'd like to, and I think, I help. So, but Mike is like the most level guy and the most trustworthy guy. He's one of the most trustworthy people I've ever met in my life. And he just very consistent. Bryant Haines is a great football coach. He's really smart, X and O wise, defensively. Hired him as a part-time coach at IUP. He coached D-line. He was a great D-line coach. He might be a better linebacker coach and coordinator. I think what he does speaks for itself. He can write his ticket. I'm not sure that Bryant right now wants to be a head coach. I think he likes being a defensive coordinator. We've been doing pretty good, so why would you go anywhere else collegiately unless you go to the NFL? And Mike, I think, aspires to be a head coach someday. My special teams guy, Grant Kane's been with me 7 years, and we've been really darn good special teams too.
I want to ask you about your quarterback. When you were hired, the day you were hired, you told us all, I do pretty well with quarterbacks. And as it turns out, you were telling the truth. So now you got Josh Hoover coming in from TCU. How has he developed, and where is he in terms of, where Fernando was a year ago and where Rourke was 2 years ago?
I think they've all been about the same point, to be quite honest with you, at this point in camp. And I think he's really settling in nicely. It's not perfect execution yet, but, he's getting concepts and looks for the first time. There might be some new concepts in fall camp, and Bryant's got some new stuff too. And it's repetitions of mother learning, but I see him really settling in.
I want to ask you a little bit big picture. I mean, this has all happened so quickly. Mm-hmm. So what are your long-term goals for the program? Like, what are things that need to be done that might have, in an ordinary world, been intermediate steps where you would have kind of gradually built it, but now all of a sudden, here you are, you're the national champs. What do you need to do to maintain it?
Well, in the world of college athletics right now, it's changing so fast. You got to be flexible and light on your feet. And what's important a year ago may not be important today. And there's going to be more changes, rapid changes, no doubt about it. And, Pam Whitten and Scott Dolson, they're committed. There's no question. They want to be the best. And so we work really well together. Obviously, there's a facility plan. We've improved our facilities quite a bit since I've been here.
Carpet's better.
Yeah, the carpet's better. There's no doubt about it. And we've done a lot of things, a lot of nice things. So, we'll just take it as it comes. We got the largest donor base in America, and, donations are really up. So one day at a time, improve as much as possible.
One last question. There's been some criticism of the non-conference schedule. What's the ideal non-conference schedule in your mind?
I guess I've never looked at it that way. Scott kind of had a philosophy before he hired me. He wanted the front end to look a certain way. Some of those games have really been pretty important for us in our development and guys' confidence. I think that out-of-conference schedule will change, in the next few years across college football, because there's going to be a lot of changes. Yeah, I'd like to play Notre Dame. They ought to come to our place twice. We'll go up there once since they're not in the conference. I'd love to play them. Be a great in-state game, I guess there's a backstory to that. I don't quite know what it is. So, it is what it is. And Big Ten schedule's pretty darn tough, too.
Yeah. Ran through it 16-0 last year. Pretty remarkable stuff. A historic season. Coach, we appreciate it. Really appreciate your hospitality and your time today. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate you coming.
All right. Don't just have the National Coach of the Year back here. They also have the Broyles Award winner, the nation's top assistant. Bryant Haines talks defense with us, and we break down what we saw on his side of the ball. Stick around. Bryant Haines strolled into Bloomington 2 years ago, and in that short time has built arguably the nation's best defense, a group that creates a ton of havoc, led all of FBS in tackles for loss last year. The Hoosiers finished in the top 3 in the nation in sacks, total defense, scoring defense, rushing defense, and red zone touchdown percentage allowed. And defensive coordinator Bryant Haines is with us now. And Coach, we talked a little bit about this at the national championship game last year, but just love your story. I mean, you're 10 years removed from being on food stamps at IUP, asking your parents to help you out. What's the message and lesson in your story?
Well, I feel like there's a lot of messages, but the big one is keep pushing towards your goals, right? If you're a football coach or any profession, I guess, for that matter, and you might not make it to the top right away. Part of the enjoyment of the story is the journey to get there. So it's been a blessing, and obviously a lot of hard work and tough stories along the way, but it's led to this, and just so grateful for all the moments along the way.
You've been on that journey with Coach Cignetti. I'm just interested, as you've observed him, you've known him for a long time. Has anything changed about him here in the last 6 or 7 months?
Oh, 6 or 7 months? No, definitely not. Now, I thought you were going to say 6 or 7 years or 10 or 11 years. The biggest difference there is he doesn't have to clean the tables anymore. We have people that clean the tables. He was cleaning the tables at IUP.
Your defense has been outstanding every single year. And I'm going to ask you the impossible question now. How can your unit this year be even better?
Yeah, it's a hard one. I think we need to hit more quarterbacks, create more turnovers, stop the run more effectively. I think we were second in the country at stopping the run. Let's go ahead and get that #1 spot.
One thing that stood out at practice was the depth and athleticism of the defensive line. What does that do for you as a play caller?
That's the key to the drill for us and how we run our defense is we believe in winning up front, let those guys play really fast and physical and vertical and make quick decisions. We believe that the second and third level guys can kind of make the picture whole. So having versatile, twitchy, sudden, violent guys up front makes the entire defense kind of run.
Now that we're kind of getting into the thick of camp, what are some of the position battles that you have your focus on?
There's a number of them. We tend to sub-package frequently, whether it be a third down or, maybe short yardage, different personnel groupings. How can we find the best 11 in all these different sub-packages? Who's the best overhang player? We have a couple more defensive linemen that'll be joining practice soon, so where do those guys fit in? And some battles in the back end, too. Who's the best boundary corner, field corner? What is that rotation looking like? So we have depth on the team, as you mentioned, and we're going to find the best 11, so several battles are still taking place there.
One of the strongest parts of the team, and especially your defense last year, was the leadership with guys like Fisher and Pons. Obviously, they're not here anymore. What are some of the players that have stepped up into a leadership role?
That's one of the best things of camp is you start to really see that, like whose voice is going to be heard, whose voice is going to come in with command over the top of everybody else's. Isaiah Bones-Jones will be the first one I bring up. He has worn the green dot for me before when Aiden Fisher missed a game last year, so he's been in that role. He takes it very seriously. He's really good at it. I hear Preston Zachman's voice a lot, who's a transfer from Wisconsin. He's come in. He's been phenomenal. He's really helping Jamari Farrell, so those two guys are doing a great job of vocalizing. And then we have some leaders up front. I'd point to Tyrique Tucker and Mario Landino. You can hear those guys. They're controlling their units well, so leadership is definitely emerging.
You mentioned you get a couple players back. That's obviously Stephen Daly and Kellen Wyatt. You came into this season with a notion of kind of how that defensive line rotation was going to work. It's a nice problem to have, but how do you, for the players who kind of thought they were playing a certain role, how are you going to reorient their thinking?
I think I'm just going to let them compete their tails off, and that was kind of my message to them as I walked into this room and I said, listen, this is a plethora of goods and guys that we can utilize in different ways. I urge you to be versatile, and when your number is called to make a play or you get your one-on-one, take advantage of it and you'll get more of them. So I'm going to let those guys compete. There's a lot of playmakers in that defensive front, and they're all going to have a chance to make some money and get some sacks.
Coach Haines, appreciate it. Congrats on all your success.
Thank you.
Haines front seven absolutely loaded with playmakers. The Hoosiers return 4 of the top 8 tackles for loss leaders in the Big Ten from a season ago, including Stephen Daly, who ranked first despite missing the entire CFP run with an injury. Curt Cignetti saying this preseason that this group is the deepest defense of his Indiana tenure. After watching this group practice today, do you agree with that assessment?
Absolutely, especially the defensive line. I mean, that's the deepest defensive line room, arguably, in all of college football. And they already were, and then you add Stephen Daly and get Kellen Wyatt back as well. When teams talk about depth, they usually mean their second guys. We trust them a little bit. But the second unit here for Indiana would be a starting unit and an upgrade over a majority of teams in college football, and the competition in that room is going to bring out the best in all of them.
Which is really going to bode well for this team. This team, I think, is really set up to have a lot of success once again this year. And what we found, when you make deep runs, you need to be able to have guys that you can run through in waves. And that's what they have with this defensive line. Really good.
I wanted to add one more thing to that. Knowing Haynes' defense, there's a lot of defensive line movement. There's defensive line games. There's run blitzes and pass blitzes. So the fact that you can tell that defensive line, go all out for 3 or 4 plays, we'll get you a break, and then bang, here comes another starting unit. That's going to be nightmare to try to game plan against for opposing offenses.
It's pretty amazing. I mean, I was watching a drill with the defensive line going against the offensive line. I think we can all agree the offensive line is fabulous. Tyrique Tucker in particular, I mean, is just destroying people. It's incredible to watch him. And again, they're going up against a really good line. I went and tracked you down and said, I think this might be the best defensive line we've seen in 20 years of doing this. And we've seen some great ones. I mean, some Ohio State lines that were fabulous. We've seen national championship teams in Michigan. I mean, like, again, we've seen great lines, but Howard, this is...
The depth. I think the depth is what really stands out. And we keep talking about or going back to just how many opportunities they're going to be able to run guys in waves. You've talked about being able to go out all out for the next 3 or 4 plays, and you got somebody that's going to come in. But you also mentioned you just the things that they can do with their linebackers as well. That's a talented group as well, particularly the top 2, the starters. Do they need to add depth? I think that's going to come with the scrimmages, but that's going to come. This is a really, really good football team.
I think one difference that stood out to me about this defense compared to last year's, I think they're more athletic, like especially the defensive front. I think Elijah Hardy as their starting linebacker is a freaky athlete. A guy like Ndukwe, now being in that starting rotation across the defense, he's a freak athlete. So it's not just quality players. They're not just big and strong. They're also extremely athletic.
You mentioned Hardy, and I think we fixated on the front just because of how great they are. But let's talk about the linebackers in the back end. Not necessarily how it compares to last year, but just how equipped they are to continue to play as well as they have these last couple of years.
So you got Hardy and Bones Jones playing. Those guys played a ton of snaps last year, and now with Fisher gone, they're going to rotate in and take those first 2 spots. I mean, talking to the staff, that third linebacker spot is a big area of focus. But the positive is we saw them in a lot of 4-2-5 today. It's about getting the best 11 on the field. They got a lot to work with in the 4-2-5 system, but maybe need to see who that third linebacker might be.
What's really what I really liked was the secondary. You think about the length that they have. They're 6'2", 6'3", long arms, rangy. It's the reason these wide receivers are going back. We've talked about the competition between the offense and the defensive line, but these receivers in the secondary are going at it each and every play. And understand, they do a great job of really playing the ball in the air and understanding where it's going to be. This could probably be a better secondary because of the length if they can play the way they did last year.
So you've got great players, and you have the coach who won the Broyles Award overseeing the whole thing. It's a pretty good combination here in Bloomington. We will flip the script and take a deep dive into the offense next. Visit with Mike Shanahan, plus Howard and Jake share their observations of the IU attack. What did Indiana's offense do well last year? In a word, everything. They scored a lot, they gained a lot of yards, many of them in large chunks, and they rarely turned the ball over. They also led the nation in third down percentage en route to being the Big Ten's top scoring offense for the second straight season under coordinator Mike Shanahan. And Mike Shanahan joining us now. And Coach, the numbers have been absolutely staggering here. You've got a new quarterback once again, third straight year. I think everyone wants to know about Josh Hoover, so give us some insight into how he's developed here in camp.
Yeah, Josh has taken a huge step from the spring to the summer, just like some of the quarterbacks before him. He's getting better with every rep. I feel like our offense is starting to build the chemistry that we need. Throughout fall camp, there's always plays to learn from each and every day. And going against Coach Haines' defense on a day-to-day basis is a big challenge. So I think Josh has done a great job not only learning the X's and O's and the fundamentals that Coach Cignetti is teaching them, but also his leadership is continuing to grow around those offense as well.
This has, interestingly enough, become one of the glamour positions in all of college football, Indiana's quarterback. So what have you told him about what to expect in the spotlight?
I haven't told him much at all. Josh coming from TCU, he's played in some big games, and he knows what the atmosphere is going to be like. So I haven't had to say much. I think that's probably a little bit understood on his part. And credit to him, too, to embracing that and taking that as a challenge and wanting to be here to be a part of it.
Does the way you install change because you don't have a quarterback? You're changing quarterbacks each and every year. The way you install stay the same, or does it change depending upon the player?
The majority of it stays the same. We have our core package of plays that we will put in every single year, every spring, every summer camp. But then once we get a feel for whoever's back there pulling the trigger, we'll start to tailor it back half of fall camp. And then as we progress throughout the season, we're always still trying to learn and grow and find different ways to move the ball.
I think you might agree that you're probably set at the top two receivers, but you want to continue to go deeper. Who would be the guys that are competing for 3, 4, and 5 for you?
Yeah, we have a mix of some experienced guys and some younger guys that are stepping up and getting a lot of reps. Tyler Morris is a name that jumps out. He was hurt last year, but he's been part of our program now going on 2 years and has made plays at Michigan. Shaz Preston, you got Jackson Wasserstrom, LeBron, and Davion Chandler. So we got a lot of good competition, and we'll try to use all those guys to the best of their abilities throughout the season.
Coach Bostad has done an outstanding job once again with the offensive line. You guys look pretty powerful there, and it looks like you're really deep as well. Yeah,
another position of strength for us. Those guys have got a lot of snaps under their belt together, and then mixing in Demola, who got a good dose of playing time last year, especially late in the year. And then you bring in Joe Bruner, who's an experienced guy, and doing a great job ever since he walked in. So definitely very confident in that group, and I think our run game will be a strength again.
They were young a little bit as a tight end. Mm-hmm. So how's that group developing?
They're growing every single day. They're getting a block, a really challenging defensive front. So they're taking their lumps, but they're also having their successes too. So they're learning each and every day, and I like the progress that they're making.
You mentioned the run game in the context of the offensive line, but what about the backs? You lost 2,000-yard rushers from last year. So what's your sense of how that group's coming together and who might be? Obviously, Turbo Richard's going to be an important part of it, but just give us a sense of how that group's come together.
Yeah, I think we'll have at least 3 ready to go and be able to keep those guys fresh. They can all run, catch, and protect. They take a lot of pride in those aspects of their games. And, between Kobe Martin, who got a lot of experience last year, in some games, he came in with fresh legs and had some good success. Lee was a guy who was doing well until he got hurt. And then you got a guy like Turbo in there, and feel pretty good about that group.
As well you should. Mike Shanahan, congratulations on all of last year's success, and can't wait to see this version of the Hoosiers.
All right, thanks, guys.
Curt Cignetti told us when he was hired that he had a way with quarterbacks. He wasn't kidding. Curtis Rourke stepped in 2 years ago, battled through some injuries, still finished in the top 10 in the Heisman balloting. He was second nationally in passing efficiency. Fernando Mendoza did him one better, the nation's most efficient passer during his Heisman winning campaign. Let's start with the quarterback position, guys, and there's so much focus on Josh Hoover.
Yep.
What were your takeaways in watching him go through practice?
I was really impressed with him today, really. You think about it, he knew where he wanted to go with the football. When he had opportunities, he played it like a game, practice. And what I mean by that is when there was nothing there, he threw the ball out of bounds instead of taking the sack. So you start talking about taking care of the football and having good practice habits. Those are things that are going to carry over to the game.
Yeah, his age and experience definitely showed and shined in practice today. He's just got a poise to him. His footwork in the pocket, you could tell he's repped at a college level, at a high level, thousands of times. As a pass catcher, he throws a very catchable ball, too. Like, it just feathers right in there with accuracy to his targets. Can't say he had a perfect day, but that's because you're going up against Bryant Haines' defense, and that's the competition that he talks about, that Cignetti talks about, that's going to allow Hoover to grow and maximize his talent.
Let's talk about the rest of this offense, and I think there's some question at running back, there's some question at wide receiver, just given the production that they lost. Let's start with those receivers. Nick Marsh comes over from Michigan State. We know about Charlie Becker. What do you think about the rest of that group?
Well, they got options too, and these are luxury problems to have, because the questions you're talking about is further down the depth chart. That wide receiver duo between Marsh and Becker should be one of the best in the Big Ten, if not college football. Saw Tyler Morris get a ton of reps today. Remember, he was a highly touted recruit coming out of high school. He's just dealt with injuries. Now he's healthy. He's a reliable target across the board. They look to be in good hands.
You know, one of the things that jumped out to me today, and we talk about Charlie Becker and how he jumped onto the scene and how he was able to do it, making big catches, dynamic catches. I know why. He makes those catches in practice as well. When you talk about those contested balls going up in the air, he has great body control and does an outstanding job of actually pulling the ball down and completing the play. And then, as we've talked about, Marsh, he's a known commodity. He, I think, is really going to excel in this style of offense.
Thoughts on how the run game is coming together between the line, which brings back a lot of pieces, and then the backs, and you lose two big-time backs, 2,000-yard backs here. So how do you see the run game?
You can make an argument that this offensive line could be better than the one last year. They continue to get better, really done a nice job. And physically, they look like they can get it done. And going against this defensive line, really, I think is going to continue to help them out throughout the year, because we'll talk about defense, but this is one of the best when you talk about interior lines of any team, I think, in the Big Ten.
If there was no numbers on the back of the jerseys, I wouldn't know if it was this year or last year's running backs. I mean, it looks like they're just picking up exactly where they left off last season. Love the patience of the running back. They help the offensive line improve as well by patiently setting up the blocks and having nice cutbacks. Overall, just the opportunity for everyone we've talked about offensively to go against this defense. I mean, this could be one of the best defenses in college football. Iron sharpens iron.
It's interesting because I think people maybe who don't follow Indiana that closely, certainly the narrative last year was around Fernando Mendoza, and he, of course, was fabulous. He won the Heisman Trophy. But this is an offense that has been based on the run. I mean, this is a team that runs the ball far more than half of their plays. They've been the top rushing attack in the Big Ten over the 2 years that Mike Shanahan's been here. Do you see that the same way this year? Do you think this is a run-first attack?
Absolutely. That's what Cignetti wants. That's what Shanahan wants. And that's what they're going to be capable of doing. And then the RPO and play action start to really shine. So they have the ingredient. They could push last year's offense. Maybe they could even be better this year.
Pretty remarkable when you think about an offense that averaged more than 40 points per game. To me, the big question mark, and you guys were touching on this a little bit with Hoover, is do you make the right decisions? He's had this turnover issue. The thing that has stood out about Indiana, right? I mean, 17 turnovers combined over the last 2 years. It feels to me like that becomes, right, that's so much a part of the culture. But how important is that element in terms of keeping this thing rolling?
It's critical because one of the big things Cignetti focuses on, don't beat yourself first. And I think this defense and special teams could probably win 8 or 9 games by themselves. The good thing for Josh Hoover is he doesn't need to win every game by himself here because of the defense and special teams.
And that's important, that you know that you're not in that situation, so you're not going to force as many balls as maybe first forced in the previous year.
It's going to be fascinating to watch. You have to figure, given the track record, they'll have some good answers here on offense, but pretty impressive to watch here today. Back to the defense next for a chat with two of the biggest stars on that side of the ball. Tyrique Tucker and Jamari Sharpe lend their insights. Our breakdown of the Hoosiers continues from Bloomington. Rolling on from Bloomington, where the Hoosiers have a number of key pieces back from their fabulous D. The front seven particularly loaded, including leading returning tackler Elijah Hardy, as well as the bulk of a defensive line that terrorized opponents all of last season. The back end returned some key parts as well, including safety Amari Farrell and corner Jamari Sharpe, whose interception sealed last year's national championship win over Miami. Sharpe and Tucker with Howard.
Hey guys, thanks for joining me. First, I want to start with you. When you start to think about where the secondary is this year compared to last year, how do you feel about it?
I wouldn't say it's on the same level as last year, but we're getting there now.
What's it take to get to that level?
Consistency and everybody doing their job, everybody doing their 111.
I know one thing that's going to help you is the big guys up front. I mean, you guys can run people through in waves now. I don't know that I've ever seen a defensive line this deep at Indiana.
Yeah, definitely. You know, getting Kellen and Wyatt back and Daly back is big for us, and it really gives us a lot of depth going into the season.
What are some of the things you worked on personally to take your game up even further?
More so just being able to identify things fast and seeing it faster and being able to use those to my advantage. Is more so what I worked on, watching my own film this offseason, and just really, you know, prepping and, you know, still doing that, you know, even in camp, you know, watching my reps and watching how I move and, you know, how I throw my moves and stuff.
How's the leadership part of your game away from the field? How have you grown in that aspect?
Away from the field, I've grown in that aspect because, you know, we got younger guys, new guys. You know, I keep them around to watch film and everything else like that.
You know, you have a unique perspective. You've seen the quarterbacks come through here. What are you seeing from your quarterback now at this point?
He's smart. He's a smart player, you know, and he's very mobile.
Able to move around. Does that make it tough for you guys up front?
Yeah, man, we really got to cage him. Really got to keep him caged in, and you know, he makes us work. You know, he gets the ball out quick, and he really challenges us every day.
I think one of the other battles is really good. Had a chance to watch one-on-one O-line, D-line. You guys are getting after it too. I don't know that I've seen the competition as stiff as it's been.
Yeah.
How are you guys getting each other better?
It's more so iron sharpens iron thing. So, you know, every day, you know, we go out there and compete. You know, we all get better, you know, through that. And, you know, they really challenge us. You know, I may get him better, and then that guy may get me better. And it's kind of just a raising our level every day kind of thing.
Complacency is never a good thing.
Right.
After you've experienced what you guys were able to accomplish last year, how do you avoid that part of the game?
You know, just coming to practice, doing your job, making sure that you're consistent, being consistent every day, taking everything serious.
Yeah, but pretty much saying what he was saying. Also being process-driven more so than result-driven. You know, you got to enjoy the process and fall in love with that process and, you know, stack those days and get that 1% every day. And you fall in love with that, and then I feel like you can avoid it.
Mentally, you guys were climbing last year, and you made it to that point. You made it to the top. Where is the mental challenge for you this year when you have last year in the rearview mirror already accomplished?
More so just leaving it in the rear view and understanding that this is a new year. What we did last year doesn't matter. And, you know, we kind of have to do that all over again. What we did last year won't, you know, put us in position to necessarily do it again without the work. So, you know, we kind of have to believe in that and buy into that more so than just, you know, the result of last year.
Well, guys, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. Good luck this year.
Thank you.
We will wrap up the show next. Take a look at the schedule ahead for the Hoosiers, plus the biggest takeaways from our day with the national champions. Wrapping things up from Bloomington with a look at the schedule ahead for the Hoosiers. Starts with a season opener here against North Texas. We've got game 2 against Howard. Conference slate opens at home against Northwestern. Huge showdown here in mid-October against Ohio State, a Big Ten championship game rematch. They head to Michigan the following week, get SC here in mid-November before heading out to Seattle to face Washington. Fellas, biggest takeaway from our day with the national champs?
Well, for me, they're not complacent. That's for sure. They're flying around and really dialed in, and I think that's an important part, at least when I start to look at the team to try to get a gauge for where they are. We only get to see this one practice. So for me, are you buying in? What's going on? How are you relating to the things that are being talked about from the front of the room? And that was very evident that these guys are hungry and are ready to go chase it.
This is just a well-oiled machine. This is a championship program. I mean, watching practice is truly such a treat. Not a single second is wasted out there, and that speaks to the standard that Cignetti holds himself to, both coordinators, and then it trickles on down through the players. To your point, Howard, like what did Cignetti tell us? You guys aren't defending a national championship. This is a brand new team, so he keeps that hunger going. And I would say, too, the ability for Cignetti and his staff to scout. You have to reload the roster. You lost a couple guys. The ability to scout and bring in the right type of player has me really excited about these players.
So many little details that are impressive. One thing that really stood out to me, they were indoors today because of the weather. And so whenever you're indoors, you're a little more compressed because often you'd be using multiple fields. The offensive linemen were coming behind a tight end drill that was still going on, and Carter Smith says to his guys, he's leading them out there, and he says, go behind the drill and let them do the drill. It's just little things like that really stand out, that you have that leadership, that you have that attention to detail, the awareness of what's going on, how important every moment is.
I'll say this, too. We didn't get a chance to cover the special teams at all, but they're going to be fabulous on special teams. The pooch punt today that they had an opportunity to execute inside, man, this is going to be a fun team. I think we need to start calling him a great coach because that's what he is.
Yes, well,
that's what he is.
I think that has borne out, no question about it. So that's the story with the Hoosiers. Next up on the tour, the Nebraska Cornhuskers check in on Matt Rule's 4th season in Lincoln. Thanks to everyone here in Indiana for the great Hoosier hospitality, particularly thanking Jeff Kegg and Greg Campbell for all their help with the sports information. We will see you as we continue down the road here on the Big Ten Football Tour.